My name is Mirela Cunjalo. I'm a director of product management at Teradici, and I'm presenting today with my colleague Paul, right here.
Hello, everyone. I'm Paul Pavlik. I'm the director of software development at Teradici.
Thank you. So what we'll be talking about today is why you might want to virtualize your workstations. We'll show you how you can damage and manage it efficiently, and we'll have a great demo that Paul will show, and hopefully 5 to 10 minutes of questions at the end as well. Okay, some of you are familiar with Teradici, some of you are not, so I wanted to do a quick overview of who we are as a company for you. So we were founded in 2004, at which time we invented a revolutionary new protocol for remoting desktops and workstations called PCoIP. And since then, we now have about 13 million users worldwide, directly through us or through our OEM partnerships. And these customers are deploying on premises, in public clouds, hybrid environments, all sorts of mixed environments like that. And customers include Fortune 500 companies across many different industries. So federal government, for example, media entertainment, manufacturing, education, finance, and more. Also, as a company, we work very closely with technology partners like Google, like NVIDIA, in order to provide the best solutions for our customers. Okay, so getting into the workstation use cases. So here are a few use cases for high-performance remote workloads. A lot of these are our type of customers that we've seen and how they use it across the different verticals. So I'll go through all of them. Media entertainment example would be visual effects workloads, video editorial, so creating movies and for editing movies, creating visual effects for movies. Federal government examples here for workstations that require GPUs would be data modeling, simulation. So, for example, flight, vehicle training and simulation, geospatial mapping. Those are examples there. Manufacturing and engineering, generally CAD workloads, 3D and 2D CAD workloads. This is automotive as well as architecture, engineering, construction type of firms. And actually also autonomous driving development fits in there as well. For finance, it would be trading. Generally, trading requires high performance. They also have a lot of very large screens at their desks. And for higher education, most workstation use cases for higher education would be around STEM subjects, so science, technology, engineering, and math, and things like lab work, online learning, and training and testing for STEM subjects as well. And for healthcare, it's primarily medical imaging. Okay, so what are the key challenges that these type of customers face when they have workstation high-performance workloads? So number one that we see the most often is that they need to protect their valuable IP. So imagine a media entertainment studio creating next Avengers. They don't want like a spoiler to leak out. In the federal government, they don't want any classified data to leak out. So that really is number one for all of those use cases I described. Another one is on-site hardware is expensive to scale and manage. So if you are purchasing workstations, they're under the desk. If you need to scale, grow, hire more people, contractors maybe, or vendors need to get access and work with you, it's more complicated to, have to wait 6 weeks to get the workstation, and you may not need it all year long. Did you get your ROI on it? That's a common problem as well. And then modern and mobile workforces are demanding offsite access. So this is people collaborating. This is people wanting to work from home. It's more and more common, have that work-life balance. And with workstations, the 3D models, the graphics-intensive workloads, the content itself is increasing in size as well as complexity. So when teams and different vendors or contractors have to collaborate together, it's more and more difficult because the content itself is more complex. Um, and there's a need to have geographically dispersed teams. You might want to hire people from different locations in the world because of cost savings, because of, company may have purchased another company, lots of reasons. Okay, so those are the challenges, and here I covered how virtual workstations can address those challenges. These are not all of them, there's a lot more to it, but these are a few highlighted ones. And this is together with public cloud like Google, as well as our PCoIP technology and all the benefits you get out of it. One is that it improves productivity and efficiency. So now that your workstation is no longer on your desk, it's somewhere else, consolidated in a public cloud or in a data center, you get to access it from anywhere. That means you can have those dispersed teams. You don't need to worry about different team members downloading data to their workstation to work on it, then uploading so the other person can see what changed. It's just more efficient this way. And working from home, there's been lots of studies done around that, how it improves efficiency and collaboration by 25% or more. So it's generally a more efficient way to work. And lastly, it does enable companies to hire global talent from anywhere. So they don't have to feel that labor pinch, having to locally hire in whatever office they're in whatever city they're in. They can hire anywhere and benefit even from tax deductions as well. Another one is that you can realize unprecedented security and protect your IP. So with our technology, when you remote your workstation somewhere else, firstly, again, you're not downloading the data. So it's not somewhere on a device that somebody is taking, traveling with, working from home with. Your data is somewhere safe in the cloud or the data center. And with our technology, what we do is we look at that desktop that you are working within, like an application, Autodesk Maya or AutoCAD or something like that. We just encrypt and encode the desktop, and we transmit only encrypted pixels to the client device, not the actual data. So your data is protected in the cloud. It never gets sent to the client device. And that's really important. And second, if you're using Google Cloud, I mean, as you have seen at the keynote and a lot of the sessions here, they put a lot of effort into security, like compliances, certifications, encryption of your data, a lot of products that they offer around security. So the combination of the two makes it more secure. By virtualizing, it also increases your agility and scalability. So you can get on-demand access to the latest tech all the time, and as much of it as you want, because so for example, NVIDIA launched a new GPU, T4, and you get to utilize it immediately rather than wait for you to order it, to arrive it, to get it and use it, and hopefully when you purchase something on premises, you hopefully will use it all the time, otherwise you don't get your ROI. With public cloud, you get to scale, use it, a lot of it, and then if you don't use it anymore, you don't pay for it anymore. It's that OpEx versus CapEx model and the benefits of that. Lastly, by virtualizing your workstation, you really realize the full potential of the cloud. So you're moving your data to the cloud, consolidating your data with your compute. So all the compute power for rendering, high performance computing, but you're not doing the workstation. So whatever your result is of your render, now you have to download it and work on it with an application. When you move co-locate your data, your compute, and your graphics, you move your application, your workstation where your data is, you get to benefit fully from the cloud. And really, this is only possible if when you are virtualizing, that you have that really great user experience. You can't expect your high-performance users to use the workstation sluggish or there's distortions on it. That's where we come in. We ensure that their performance is as if it's under the desk rather than somewhere else. Okay, so why Teradici? Why our technology? I've covered a little bit previously on it, but this is a bit more detail based on our workstation customers and what their needs are. So high performance user experience. What we do is our protocol provides the highest image quality with efficient build to lossless. So what that means is when you're looking at an image virtualized and on premises, it's 100% color accurate, lossless, build to lossless, and highly interactive and low latency, which is what these type of users really need. Also, what we do in terms of high performance user experience is that we automatically adjust to changing network conditions. So if your users are working from home or traveling, wherever they are, using a tablet maybe, somewhere in the field, like example would be an architect going on site and looking at his 3D drawings on his tablet. Well, the network is very different from when he's in the office. We automatically adjust and give you the best user experience. There's no need to do some change settings, etc. We also offer ultra-secure remoting and endpoint architecture. Like I said, we just encrypt and transmit pixels, AES-256 encryption as well, and no data ever gets to the client device. Again, I'll emphasize here that one of our verticals is the federal government. It's quite a big vertical for us because of the security we offer with our technology. And also ease of deployment and management. We understand that if you're managing virtual workstations, you want to make sure that you can do that efficiently and effectively, and we do that as well with the tools we provide you, and Paul will demonstrate that later on as well. And we also support widest platform flexibility. So this would be, this means multi-cloud. This means any public cloud, on-premises, mix of those, whatever suits your needs, we can do. Okay, so I haven't said yet what the product is called. It's called Cloud Access Software, Teradici Cloud Access Software, and it's built on top of the PCoIP technology that I've been talking about. Okay, I wanted to bring this up because it was also brought up at the Tuesday keynote as well that enterprises have a multi-cloud strategy. Either have it now, already are multi-cloud, or going multi-cloud. So this is a pretty high percentage, 84%. So if you are thinking about going to the cloud and you're worried, it's quite common to have a mixed environment where certain projects go to the cloud, maybe you burst into the cloud, or you might be going fully in the cloud. It's up to you and your business. So this year shows that with Cloud Access Software, we support all phases of your journey to the cloud, whether you want to be just on the data center today, virtualized or not virtualized, and just burst in cloud a little bit, or go fully to the cloud, whatever you are today or where you want to go later, we can support all those scenarios already. So speaking of that hybrid environment, here's an example architecture. As you can see, an on-premises and a public cloud version, workstations. So the on-premises, there is two that show virtualized on a hypervisor, ESXi or KVM hypervisor, and also non-virtualized ones. And on the public cloud, Google Cloud, you have some VMs as well. And that's where you install our software. And what the end user would do, that's sitting at their desk working on, let's say, a CAD workload, they would basically install a software client on their laptop. It can be it's not a workstation style laptop, it's just a lower level laptop, Mac, Windows, Linux, whatever, as well as mobile, Chrome OS, Android, iOS tablets, and the PCoIP 0 client, which is a hardware client device that we have that has our chip in it and no application OS. So those are the choices. So for example, for education, they might be using Chromebooks a Chromebook to connect to Autodesk AutoCAD or something running in the public cloud. So they're using a simple Chromebook to do that sort of high intensity work. Okay, so let's say you do virtualize your workstations, and if you do, you need a way to efficiently manage them. And there's reasons why you might want to efficiently manage and obviously save time and money to manage your users. What we offer is a Cloud Access Manager service for you to be able to do this. And this is what Paul will demonstrate as well. And some of the features and capabilities that it gives you is that it improves administrative efficiency because it automatically provisions your workstations for you, so you don't have to manually go through a bunch of steps to do it. You can scale easily. You can add more workstations, remove workstations, go scale up and down easily. And third one on there is about managing cloud consumption costs. So that's a big thing. If you are using a public cloud and you're using the OpEx versus CapEx model, you want to and need to, you don't want to be paying for something you're not currently using. So Cloud Access Manager helps with that. If you're not using it, it's shut down, so you're not paying for compute, and when the user wants to use their workstation, they can just log in and get access to it. Oh, and of course, lastly, it's that it brokers the connection from the user to the workstation. So when I log in to my client, I'm presented only with desktops that I've been authorized to access by my administrator. Okay, I won't cover all these, but I want to cover a couple of them that our workstation customers care about. 4K UHD resolution. We do support that. So most customers are still HD, but they're going to 4K for various reasons. It could be content they're working on is 4K. It could be just they need real estate, so they buy 4K, and it's becoming cheaper and cheaper. We support both Windows and Linux environments. So when I was talking about all those use cases, some of them are, some use cases are purely Windows. The applications they're using are only running on Windows. Some of them are purely Linux. Some are mixed. We don't care. It works with all of them. Additionally, I know we're talking about workstations here, but we support also normal users like office workers and task workers as well, not just workstation users. We have a version of our software for that too. This is an example of something where we put effort into providing low latency peripheral support. So some of our users in media entertainment, for example, need to use tablets like this, and it's very important to them that it feels like it's right there, rather than they feel the moment there's like a 20 millisecond latency between the user and the workstation, they feel it and they can't use it. So we developed technology to make that feel like it's under the desk. This is a little bit of advertising. We introduced and announced last week PCoIP Ultra. This is our latest protocol enhancements in terms of performance. As you can see, we continuously improve our performance based on the needs of the workstation users in the industry as it's changing. So this latest upgrade means 4x encoder performance. So you could do 4K resolutions at up to 60 frames per second. Here's an example of what our customers are saying. Sony Pictures ImageWorks is one of our long-time users of our technology. And you can see here, I'll read it out. Teradici Cloud Access software on Google Cloud will allow us to rapidly scale and burst virtual workstations for our visual effects artists using NVIDIA GPU, cloud instances, enabling our studio to meet tight project timelines. It's that one, like I was talking about earlier, one of the benefits of utilizing virtual workstations and public cloud is that you get a competitive edge against your competitors. This is another customer. You can read a lot more about this one on our website, but just wanted to highlight one thing that they've benefited from as well that I didn't talk about earlier. When they moved the workstation away from the artist under the desk somewhere else, they said that the working environment was so much more pleasant because it's quieter, there's no heavy workstations, it's just a simple client that they're working with, and it felt cooler as well because with the workstation, it was quite hot in the rooms where they were working. All right, so if you wanted to try it out, Cloud Access software, we do have it on the GCP marketplace. That's one way to try it out. You can also reach out to us and get a trial license as well outside of this. And I also want to call out that NVIDIA has also released a Google Cloud Marketplace image for their Quadro virtual workstation for their T4. So it's something you can try it out today. If you use it, you can remotely access it with our technology. And it's available, looks like, in 8 different regions. Just to show you, this is a demo. It's a really cool demo that they have at their booth. At the end, I'll show a slide of the different booths that you could visit that have our technology in it. There's several, and this is one you could go see. Okay, so that was it on my part. I think you're probably all waiting for a demo. Paul, go ahead.
Great. Can everyone hear me okay? Great. Yeah, thanks a lot, Mirela. So what I'm going to be doing this morning is I'm going to show you, well, if we can just switch back to the slides for a quick sec, that would be appreciated. I'm going to show you the architecture of what I've set up and what I'm going to demo. And so what I've got is 2 different regions where I've got remote workstations in GCP US East, another region, remote workstations set up in GCP West. And I've also got remote workstations set up on premises. Since we're in Vancouver, I decided to put them in Vancouver for this demo. And so what we require is for you as users of PCoIP to install this connector. We call it the Cloud Access Connector. And that effectively allows your PCoIP clients to connect directly to your remote workstations. These clients, as Mirela said, we support various types of devices, the Teradici 0 client, the PCoIP client running on Windows, Linux, OS X, iOS, and Android devices. But when you connect into your remote workstations, we don't require the use of a VPN. Inside the Cloud Access Connector, we have a security gateway that effectively acts as a NAT. And also what is connected to the Cloud Access Connector is your directory service. Currently, we support Microsoft AD. We will be supporting other directory services in the near future. And I was really happy to hear Google's announcement yesterday with their support for Microsoft AD as well. And what coordinates all of this is we've developed a Cloud Access Manager service that runs in the cloud. You have a single management console to go to it to administer all these machines, as well as entitle users to those machines. I'm just going to geek out for a couple seconds, but I'm really proud of what we developed. This Cloud Access Manager service was developed as a cloud-native application right from the beginning. We've built it on top of Kubernetes. We've embraced all the principles between SRE and DevOps, as well as we've built it as a 12-factor app. Lots of exciting things happening in the cloud world, and we're happy that we could take advantage of that. So now if we can jump onto the demo computer, that would be great. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you a PCoIP connection quickly, just so you get a sense of what it's like, and then I'm going to show you our administration console. And as you can see, we run on even old laptops such as this one here. So I've got our PCoIP client already installed on this Windows laptop. I'm going to kind of go through the manual connection just to show you how we do it. So I'm just going to type in the IP address. Sorry, I had it in my buffer, but I guess it got lost. And so this is the IP address of the Cloud Access Connector that is in your subscription. Okay, and so I'm going to enter in my credentials, make sure I get it right. And I have to admit, as I was preparing for this presentation, I found myself constantly speaking out loud my password, so I apologize if I do that today. Okay, so I've been authenticated against my AD credentials. I'm presented with a list of remote workstations that I've been previously authorized to access. So I'm just going to jump onto this one and do a connection. And so what's happening now is the PCoIP connection is being directly established through the Cloud Access Connector to the remote workstation in your subscription on GCP. So here you can see I've got a Windows machine running. This is on I've got the NVIDIA, so I think I selected the NVIDIA virtual workstation with the P4 GPU. And this is, just to kind of highlight, all the different things that you can do with the remote workstation here. So I'll just make sure. And one thing I like to kind of demo, and I'll see if I can demo it quickly since this is a live demo, but I'll just see if I can go to it. I've got a speed. I'm just going to run this speed test in the background. I just chose this one. As it's running, I just want to highlight, if your data's in the cloud and you're doing your analysis in the cloud and you're visualizing the cloud, why not actually have your desktop in the cloud as well? And so here you see the download speed. I'm getting just around 1 gigabit or just slightly below 1 gigabit per second. And now I'm going to do my upload speed, and it's kind of creeping up towards 1 gigabit. So I just wanted to kind of highlight that. And the latencies, again, if you've got your data in the cloud and you've got your remote workstations in the cloud, the latencies between them can be actually very, very low. And I'm just going to show you, and I'll keep that running in the background, and I'm just going to connect to another remote workstation. I'll do the same thing as before, the same IP address. Oops, that's not the same. Sorry about that. 31.236. 30.14. Okay. And I'll enter the same credentials as I entered in before. And I'm going to select a different workstation, and I'll connect to it now. Okay, and here it is. Okay, so this is a different workstation, but you can see it's not Windows. Here I'm running CentOS 7 on GCP with an NVIDIA P4 as well. So we support RHEL, and for people in the crowd who are developer types, I know that you prefer Ubuntu, and we support that as well. And here's just another simple WebGL application that I like to quickly demo, just kind of shows the capabilities of the GPU very, very quick. So that's really neat to see. Cool. So how do we make this happen? So I'm going to log into the Cloud Access Manager portal. It's at cam.teradici.com. Today I'm actually showing you our beta UI, and that's why it's represented in the URL. We support different identity providers to log in. We support Microsoft and Google. Since we're at Google Next, I'm going to log in with Google. So I've got my Teradici demo account on Gmail. I'm just going to log in. Didn't ask me for my password. I just logged in about 20 minutes ago. So with the Cloud Access Manager, there's three kind of concepts. There's deployments, connectors, and remote workstations. Remote workstations I'll get to in a second, but with deployments, say you're a managed service provider where you're managing different customer accounts on their behalf. In that case, you would want to have multiple deployments per customer where the AD is connected to each. You'd have a different AD and different cloud credentials to provision those machines. Another example of where you'd want multiple deployments is, say you want an area for your sandbox environment, so you can do all your sandbox testing before modifying your production environment. Another example is disaster recovery. You might want to set up entirely different deployment for your DR site. And then connectors, these are the three connectors that I was showing in that architecture diagram earlier. We've got the Vancouver on-premise one, or on-premises one, the GCP US East, and the GCP US West. And you can monitor the health of the connector, especially if the connector goes down. And then from the connector, there's a couple different things you can do. Is you can create a new remote workstation. Creating a remote workstation is where you would provision a remote workstation where we would do that on your behalf, and we would install the software, install the NVIDIA drivers if you decide to use a graphics agent machine, as well as actually add it to the domain such that you can have your users log in with a single sign-on user experience. So I'm just going to kind of quickly show what it looks like for the simple user interface. So here I can select a Windows or a graphics machine, just enter my name. And then since I've already set this up with GCP, here are all the different regions and zones that you can select from. I'm just going to select a region where I know there's NVIDIA machines. I've already set up my networking, so I'm just going to select my network. I'll just choose that one. And then machine type, you can select different types. And then here are the different GPU types. So today in this region, I see the Tesla P100 and the P4. A couple days ago, NVIDIA announced the T4, which is really exciting as well. And once that becomes available in the region, it will automatically show up in our interface here. So I'll just select the P4, and you can select how many GPUs you would like. And then I have to enter in my AD credentials. This is the service account credentials. So I'll just do it quickly. What was it? Oh, yeah. Got that right. And then I'm going to hit create. So while that's going off in the background, I'm just going to go and show you the view of the remote workstations page. So these are the 3 remote workstations I previously set up, as well as the one that's being created right now. So you can see they're running. And so with most virtual workstations you might be familiar with, you can start, stop, restart, and delete them, as well as edit. So I'm just going to edit one just to quickly show you. Here is all my users in my AD. So I can assign Ryan Meadows and add him to this list such that when he logs in with his AD credentials, he'll be presented with this remote workstation so this person can go access it. And one thing I want to mention, this whole front end that you're seeing is using our backend APIs, and we plan to make those backend APIs publicly available for our partners. This can be really useful if you're wanting to build your own solution on top of ours, so you can add your own value add. You might be wanting to automate a lot of this stuff. Well, I expect you will. So using those APIs, you can automate it and actually not have to go through this UI. But the UI is a really good way to show how things are set up, as well as for monitoring things. And I'm just going to quickly show the power management side of things. So here's a machine that is in the stop state. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to start up a third PCoIP session. I'll enter in the same IP address as before. Okay, and the machine, I believe, was stage VFX1. That's in the stop state. Yes, it is. Okay, so I'm just going to go connect to it and establish a PCoIP connection. And so what you'll see, let me just, so back in the client, it said it was actually starting. Now, if I go back to the remote workstations, it says it's starting here. One of the neat things about the GCP machines is they start up really fast. So within less than a minute, this machine will be running, and then your user will automatically connect to it. Yeah, it's important to keep control of your costs, because running machines in the cloud, especially the GPU ones, can run up a large bill. So some users like to turn them off when they're not being used. Okay.